Hey guys, Phillips here with my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Showman today. And today, actually, quite a few different things come out today. It looks like a lot of this stuff's going to be available at Walmart. And, since it is the first Tuesday, at Walmart, the first Tuesday of every month, they change out the section. So, like, the actual section, they get into, like, a lot more, like, indie horror movies and all kinds of more obscure stuff when they change that out. But they only do that usually once a month. Like I said, the first Tuesday of every month. But, the front section of the store, though, they change that out every single Tuesday, in the DVD Blu-ray section. So definitely going to go there, and hopefully I don't have to go to a couple different, Walmarts trying to find this stuff. Also, at the end of this video, going to have a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about, as well as a pretty cool unboxing video at the very end of this video as well for Phoenix Forgotten. And then, this, Saturday, I'm going to have up my new DVD Blu-ray update as well. So definitely be sure to look out, for that as well. One thing I want to let you guys know too, the release today, it's up now on, Amazon On Demand, Amazon Streaming or Amazon Prime, as well as Vudu streaming. And then I think next Tuesday it's going to be available, exclusively on Amazon as well on DVD. So if you guys want to get a physical copy, it'll be up on there. Should be next Tuesday. And the movie's called WTF. And I have a really fun cameo in this movie. This movie actually turned out really cool. It's a cool, old school slasher. In the beginning of the movie, though, it's about this girl who ended up surviving this attack. All of her friends got killed, and someone, killed all of them. And it's 3 years later, and her and her new group of friends are going, for spring break out to this cabin out in the woods. And of course, though, when they go out there, someone starts killing them again. It's a real cool throwback slasher film. I don't know, I thought this movie just turned out really cool. Some really cool deaths in this one. If you guys get to check this one out, let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, but really love this one. It's going to be, like I said, you guys can check it out on Amazon Prime streaming and Vudu, as well as the DVD, like I said, out next Tuesday. But anyway, though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today.
Into Walmart we go.
And I'm doing stuff out of order today because, it looks like Walmart's going to have in most of the stuff. The only thing is, like, hopefully, though, all the stuff is actually put out in here already. Because a lot of times, it's about 12:30, but sometimes the movies have not been put out yet. So as I always say, I got to keep my fingers crossed that all the movies have been put out and I don't have to go to a couple different, Walmart locations today to try and find this stuff. Because like I said, pretty much everything is at Walmart.
And in Walmart today, it was actually a pretty big release week. Big Little Lies came out. I'm going to have a review of this show at the end of this video. This one called Pure Country, but a lot of this stuff's going to be in the section. This one was actually a really cool movie called Wakefield with Bryan Cranston. I'll be reviewing that this weekend, so definitely be on the lookout for that in my update. The Circle came out today. Phoenix Forgotten, like I said, I'm going to have an unboxing for this one, but really pretty cool found footage movie. Probably one of the better found footage movies in a really long time. And this is one of the ones today that came out. It's only $9, and I know this is going to be probably not good at all. But I always really loved, the original Cop and a Half movie. So I kind of want to get this one just to see it. It's probably going to be on Netflix as well. But for some reason, though, I really, really want to see this. Going in style release today as well. But I know this is going to be kind of bad, but for some reason, I really do want to watch this. But over here in the section, though, there's a lot of stuff in here today that are new. Because like I said, this section, always gets changed out. I believe this thing was today, this one called Luna. I don't know, some kind of BBC show. It's always hard to put some of these ones back. This one, 1944 was today. The Lovers was today. This is one of the ones that I really wanted to get. And it's actually a pretty good price. It's $19.96. It's cheaper than it is on Amazon by like $2 for the Blu-ray. So that's a really good price. But this is one I really wanted to see, this Colossal one. The director of the movie Open Windows did this one, which was a really cool Elijah Wood movie. But really love this cover on this one. But definitely going to get this one. And then other than that, though, this came out, and this is an exclusive in here. This is, a Shout Factory one. You can only get this one exclusively in here. I believe there's going to be a Blu-ray of this one like in September or October, but I'll probably, if I really like it, I might get the Blu-ray down the line. But this is one I really want to see. Heard some really good things about it. It stars Ethan Embry. Wet Movie 1 talked about this one as well, so definitely one I wanted to see. Other than that, though, this one, Lake Fear 2, The Swamp, that one released today. This one, The Dwelling, which I might get. This one kind of looked interesting. And this one, Cabin 28. It says like based on the, the story of the strangers. It's another one that looks kind of interesting. Other than that, I believe one of the other ones, this one, The Operative, I think this was today. But the main ones I know for sure that I'm going to get are these ones. You know, the Devil's Candy, Colossal, and Cop and a Half. But there actually are a couple other things in here as well. This one came out today, this one, The Drowning, which I don't know a lot about this one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know if this one's worth checking out, as well as S.W.A.T. Under Siege. And I'm reviewing this one at the end of this video. And this one is another one. I don't seem to see the Blu-ray of this, but if you guys have seen this one, Slight, let me know though if this one's worth picking up. That's, like I said, that's another one of the other ones I wasn't too sure about today.
Yeah, so I ended up getting those 3 ones, like I said, Colossal, The Devil's Candy, and that Cop and a Half New Recruit. Like I said, I know that's not going to be amazing, but I always kind of like watch those like direct-to-video ones.
Into Target we go. In here, though, they don't have a whole bunch of stuff because there wasn't a lot of really big titles today. Just a lot of stuff that I was really interested in. You know, Going in Style was out today as well. But in here, their Colossal is $19. It doesn't have the, you know, the ventricular cover on it, and it's, you know, not, you know, they don't have the Blu-ray of it. So definitely, if you guys are interested in this one, I would recommend getting this one at Walmart. That's definitely the best price, and especially it's the same price for the, you know, Blu-ray as the DVD in here. But other than that, though, not really anything else in here today, like at least that Target got in.
And this past weekend I saw 2 different movies. The first one I saw was Atomic Blonde, and that was from, you know, the producer and like co-director of the first John Wick movie. And it was one of those movies where I felt like it was kind of like a 50-50 movie. Like 50% of the movie I really liked. There were some really cool fight scenes. Charlize Theron was really good in the movie. I love the actress, you know, who was Charlize Theron's girlfriend in this. You know, she was in the Mummy remake playing the Mummy. But like, I don't know what it was with the movie. Like, some of the stuff with the story just wasn't that great, and like what she, like the task that she was trying to do, there were some scenes in it where like some of the stuff that kind of felt like it went on a little too much, and like the story kind of got confusing a little bit, and like I didn't know totally what they were talking about, trying to find somebody. They were trying to find like something that he had, like these names they were trying to get, and they kept saying it so many times, and it was just like, I don't know, I thought, like I said, there was some cool stuff, some cool music, but then at the same time, you know, it all took place during the time of like the Berlin Wall, like right when it was falling in like the 80s, and there was like a lot of 80s songs, but then there was like one modern song in there, and I'm like, well, why was there this one modern song in there that didn't really fit when it was all these other 80s songs? I don't know, it's like, let me know what you guys thought of it. The other one I saw was Girls Trip, you know, which, you know, stars Queen Latifah, and I don't know, like that was another one, you know, that one got really, really high reviews, and I kind of liked it, but it sort of felt like it was one of those movies where they made it like a PG-13 movie, and like 70% of the movie was like a PG-13 film, and then there was like a couple scenes that they added to try and like make it like raunchy and R-rated, and mainly one of the actors was kind of doing all the real raunchy stuff, and it was weird. Like, it was like I said, it felt all like a PG-13 movie, and then like there'd be like one crazy scene that went over the top, and then like you know, then a PG-13ish it's kind of feeling, then another really raunchy scene. There was like 3 or 4 super raunchy scenes. I don't know, I just didn't love that one too much. This coming week though, you know, weekend, the one movie I can't wait to finally see, because it's been delayed for like 2 years now, is Kidnap. I don't know if it's gonna be that great, but I've been wanting to see that one forever, so glad that movie's finally coming out. But let me know, you guys, below what movies you saw, if you guys got to see any movies this past weekend.
Into Best Buy we go. And over here, though, really isn't too much else today. Like I said, you know, Going in Style today. Circle was also today. That was one of the ones I forgot released today as well. But it doesn't look like they have in here Colossal. I looked in the front and didn't see it either. So definitely not too much. Like I said, really, Walmart was really the main place that had everything that I wanted today. But not a lot of other things today are like really big title releases.
So that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping for today. Like I said, all the stuff I really wanted to get was at, you know, Walmart, and then next week there's going to be a bunch of stuff at Best Buy. Some of those Best Buy exclusives like Prom Child, Ed TV, Bowfinger, all those ones are going to be you know, exclusive Blu-rays. So hopefully that's not, you know, too difficult to find those, because last time they had a lot of those at Best Buy, it was really difficult to get them, and they had to go in the back and get them out and all that kind of stuff. But like I always say, guys, if you enjoy these, you know, Blu-ray shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. And also, you know, this weekend, be on the lookout for my new update video. It'll be up this Saturday. Now, though, stay tuned for a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got from Fox, and this is one in the last week's shopping video. People were telling me what a fun movie this was. So really happy I got a copy of this one to review. And this is the 4K edition of Boss Baby. And Alec Baldwin, you know, is the voice of the Boss Baby. And the movie's also narrated, too, by Tobey Maguire. And I just, one of those movies, too, where, like, I didn't know going into this if it was going to be, like, really, really kiddish. Because some animated movies can be really kiddish, like the Smurfs and some other ones that I feel like they don't have too much stuff like that adults would like as much. But this is one of those movies I feel like, you know, kids would like this movie, adults would like this movie. It was like a real mixture of the humor. I found this to be just a really, really fun movie. Probably one of my favorite animated movies in a long time. You know, it's up there with some of the ones recently that I really like, you know, Trolls and Sing, as well as Secret Life of Pets. This movie, though, is basically, though, about the baby, you know, the Boss Baby, voiced by Alec Baldwin, who comes from the baby factory, and they have up there, like, if you're, like, a baby that doesn't laugh when they're sending you out to your parents, they send you to upper management up there, you kind of run the whole baby factory, and the Boss Baby's being sent down to try and stop something happening where this puppy factory is that could stop it, because there's basically, in this world, puppies are kind of getting more popular than babies, and they're really afraid that, like, no one's going to want to have kids anymore. So Boss Baby's there to try and stop this. And, you know, Boss Baby, the family that he's sent to, you know, his parents know nothing about any of this, and he's trying to, you know, be undercover. And, you know, the brother is really unhappy that this baby's there because all the attention's on the baby. And he says, you know, he ends up kind of helping him to try and stop what's going to happen, you know, by going on this journey with him. It's just a really, really fun movie. Like I said, like, it's one of those movies, it's definitely one of those ones I feel like adults would like as well. The 4K version of this movie looks great. You know, I feel like animated films really, really benefit from 4K because it's so much with the brightness levels. And it's a super bright movie, just looks really, really great. Like, if you guys have 4K, definitely recommend it. They have on here, feature-wise, the features are all on the Blu-ray disc, and it has, you know, a brand new mini adventure here, new short film here with the Boss Baby character, as well as a bunch of different deleted scenes on here, as well as some featurettes on this movie. But just a really, really fun movie. Really like this one. The next one here is probably one of the best found footage movies in a really long time, and also probably one of the most effective when it comes to the found footage aspects. And this movie is from Fox as well. This is Phoenix Forgotten, and I saw this one in theaters as well, and was really like, this is one of the few movies found footage wise where I was watching some of this and thinking, and I knew it wasn't, but I was kind of thinking, like, is some of this real footage? Because it really, they did it. It's basically, though, about this sister who is doing a documentary on her brother and his friends who kind of went missing back in 1997, and she's like looking back at these footage that was filmed, and he had saw these kind of lights in the sky, and him and his friends were going and like investigating these lights and filming the whole adventure. And like I said, it was all done found footage, so it was like 1997's found footage, and they did a really good job making it like, you know, that high 8, you know, video quality, and really, really seeming realistic. And it's pretty much her doing a documentary, going through and looking at the footage and trying to find other things if she can find out any more information about what had happened to her brother and where she went, but, you know, where he went with all the friends and what happened to them, because it was this mysterious thing when they totally vanished and no one knows where they are, and she's doing this documentary and the whole thing. But like I said, it was so effective with the found footage part. Not all the documentary stuff was amazing, but the found footage stuff, when they're actually going to that, was the best stuff in the movie, and really was surprisingly well done. They did a really good job making it look like it was 1997. There wasn't like a lot of goofs in there. There was like one or two little things that like weren't there at the time and stuff, but they did a really effective job of making it seem like real lost footage, because that's some of the problem with a lot of found footage things. It does not seem found footage. It seems like it's filmed too well. It doesn't really fit, or it doesn't work, or it's got too many angles, or the sound is really too good and all that kind of stuff. This really worked. Has on here, though, some featurettes on here, as well as a commentary track on here with the director and some of the actors. But definitely give this one a chance, guys. I really like this. The next one I got from Warner Brothers, they sent over a free copy of this one to check out and review. And this was actually a remake, and I never had seen the original film, but Zach Braff directed this one, and I've liked the things that he's directed. And this is a movie called Going in Style, and this has, you know, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin in it. And it's basically, though, about 3 guys who work at this factory, and they're getting ready to be pretty much retiring. They're at the age to retire, but the company is like changing hands and it's like being sold off, so they're going to end up losing their benefits and their retirement plan, so they're not going to have any money, and they're all kind of counting on it. And some of them are basically at points where they're going to lose their house, and they're all really in a bad situation. They don't really know what they're going to do, so they kind of come up with the idea that they're going to steal from the bank, to steal the money that was like taken from them. So basically stealing from the bank that was like buying out the company. So it's like them trying to plan like this robbery. These guys that really know nothing about robberies, trying to figure out how they're going to plan this. And there's all these wacky stuff of them like trying to like rob from the supermarket and trying to like just steal like anything from there. They're trying to practice anything they can, and they're getting into all kinds of problems and all these kind of issues. It's just a really fun movie. I always like these movies about like old men characters, like Grumpy Old Men and those kind of films, and all of them together in this movie are really funny. Like I know it's like, I don't think they had all been together in a movie before, but it kind of was a little bit like that movie Las Vegas a little bit. I just found this to be just a really fun movie, and this one has on here a commentary track with Zach Braff as well as deleted scenes. I need to see at some point the original film as well, but this was just like I said, a really fun film. Now this one is from HBO. It's a TV show, and like so when it comes to like TV shows, like sometimes I watch an episode or two, but this one I watched through all 8 episodes. I love this show. It's a TV show called Crashing, and Judd Apatow is one of the producers, and he directs I think like 2 or 3 episodes on this. The one thing that was really cool too was Artie Lang is in this in a couple episodes. I think he's in like 4 or 5 episodes. He's really, really good in this. This is definitely one of my favorite things I've seen Artie Lang do, and he's done this too, and he's, in real life too, he's dealing with some drug problems and stuff, and they even talk about some of this in the show. I do really hope he gets to be in the 2nd season, because he is such a big part of this show and really cool in the show. But this movie is basically about this guy, Pete Holmes, who's a stand-up comedian, and he goes out at night, just like goes to clubs. He's never really making his money, and his wife is pretty much supporting him. And he goes home one night and finds out that his wife is cheating on him with this guy, and she wants to leave him. So he leaves the house, and he has no money. He doesn't know what he's going to do, how he's going to pay for things. And it's called Crashing because he's always crashing on people's couches, like Artie Lang's couch, and people that he meets at comedy clubs like T.J. Miller. And it's all these kind of like problems, and anytime things look like they're going to go well for the guy, he gets fired, or things go terribly wrong, or there's a misunderstanding. It's kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm a little bit, like with Larry David, where things are always going wrong, and things are always going wrong with this guy. This is one of those shows where you can really, like, once you start watching it, like at least with me, I was like, I just have to finish this. The last HBO show like that was Vice Principals. I like these kind of, I don't know, I like these kind of shows, these really funny things, and this to me was a very funny show. They have a lot of good guests on here. Like I said, T.J. Miller, Hannibal Buress is on here, Sarah Silverman. It has as well on here some things about the special guests they have, as well as the full stand-up special that Pete Holmes did as well for HBO. But a really, really good show. The next one here is from HBO as well, and this is a series called Big Little Lies, and this is, with Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, and Shailene Woodley, and this, like I said, is Big Little Lies, and I don't think this is going to be another series. I think this is just like a limited series one, like In the Night Of. And this is basically, though, it's all pretty much about all these women that are mothers that have their kids all going to this one school, like an elementary school. And you see right in the beginning of the show that they're kind of interviewing parents and talking about how somebody had died. And like, if these ones didn't meet, this person wouldn't die. And something happened. And the show is pretty much about like, kind of like leading into what had happened, and also deals with all the kind of characters, their lives at home, and they all kind of have like marriage problems and life problems, and it's kind of like all about all their kind of issues they have, and all the stuff with their kids, and like these fights in school, and it's all that kind of stuff about their life, and some of them have more money than each other, and it's all these kind of issues and stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting series. It has on here, though, some extended behind-the-scenes look on the show, as well as some inside episodes, like featurettes on the show itself. But a pretty interesting show here, though. And the next one here from Sony is a new film from the S.W.A.T series. I think this is, I think there was like 3 other S.W.A.T films, I believe. This one is called S.W.A.T Under Siege, and this, stars Michael J. White, from Spawn, and he's a number of other things as well. And this is basically, though, about like this SWAT team, and they end up, getting this call to go to this certain location because like something they have to pick up, and they get there and they find out that whether it's like this like shipping container thing, and Michael J. White's character is like locked in there, and there's this weird kind of like scorpion type logo thing on the side of the building. And it turns out though that where they are though, they're like all getting shot when they're going there to try and get him, and what the thing is, what is him. And then of course they bring him back to the SWAT headquarters, and this is somebody that for one reason or another, the people that were holding him captive like really want this guy and they really want to get him back. So they all kind of come to the SWAT headquarters, and they all like kind of, all the SWAT team is kind of trapped in there while these people are kind of coming in there after them. So it's all like set in the SWAT headquarters about them all trying to kind of survive and figure out exactly, what is the reason why they want this guy and what exactly is going on, because it becomes like this whole total nightmare situation for them, kind of trapped in there with this, all these people kind of coming after them and getting shot and killed and everything. It's a really interesting, like fun kind of like trapped in one kind of place thing here. And like I said, I hadn't really seen any of the other SWAT films, but this is one of those ones where it doesn't matter, though. It's kind of its own self-contained film. The next one here from Severin Film is a really trippy movie called Beyond the Darkness. I saw this one years and years back. The one thing that's pretty cool, too, is this actually includes the soundtrack from the Goblin soundtrack. And I don't know if that had ever been released before or not, but the music in here is great, as well as a bunch of different features on here, some interviews with some of the cast members, as well as Goblin from 2016 performing the music from this live, as well as a thing on here about the filming locations. This is a movie though about a guy whose wife dies, and then he becomes like he was like totally obsessed with her, and when she dies he ends up digging up the body and taking her back to his house, and he starts like basically stuffing her and keeping the body in his bed, and he's like totally lost his mind. And there's also this woman who lives in the house with him who's like this nanny who kind of takes care of him, and they have a really, really peculiar, weird relationship, and there's some really strange stuff going on between them. And the guy though is lost his mind, and he goes out like picks up women and is like killing them, and the nanny's like involved with some of this stuff too. There's these crazy scenes of him like trying to hide the bodies and what's he gonna do, and like putting them in baths of acid, and these crazy like super gory death scenes and stuff of the nanny like killing people and cutting up the bodies. It's like a real insane, over the top, gory movie. Really crazy movie. Like I said, I had not seen this movie in a really long time, but great transfer on this one. Love this cover as well. The next one here from Screen Archives, and this is limited edition to 3,000 copies. I saw these movies years ago as a kid. I remember renting these as a kid, and these are because they made like a lot of different versions of these films. They made some in the 80s, they made some in the 90s. The one with Elijah Wood, the one with like I can't remember if it was like two other. I mean, there's a lot of different ones I remember watching. I remember seeing tons of different versions of these films throughout the years. But these ones are actually musical versions of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. And like I said, they're all done as musicals. And I don't think they had ever done these again or even before this as musicals. It's like a totally different kind of thing. So all the scenes are kind of done like in the musical interludes and stuff like that of them. And I don't know, these are actually really fun movies. Like I said, I remember watching these ones as a kid. Years ago, I rented them like on VHS. I had not seen these movies in such a long time. And these are like ones I totally remember, because like I remember too seeing them around the same time I was seeing like Hansel and Gretel. And like I think I used to think that those were like part of that same line, and I don't know why I thought that, because I think Hansel and Gretel was like musical, so I was probably watching a lot of these kind of things in the kids family section at Blockbuster. I remember these are definitely ones that I rented, so it's definitely cool to see these ones again. It has on here though isolated musical tracks. Tom Sawyer has an audio commentary track on here as well, but as well as some rehearsal footage with John Williams. So a bunch of different features on these ones, but a cool double pack. And if you guys are wondering too, both of them on the same disc, but really great transfers on these ones. The next one here is a Woody Allen movie that I feel like no one talks about that much. This is probably one of my favorite ones of his from like the 70s. And this is a really quirky, strange movie that I feel like definitely had some inspiration for the meaning of life from Monty Python. I really feel like this had some inspiration a little bit. This is one called Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex, But Were Afraid to Ask. And Woody Allen plays a couple different characters in this, and it's a really quirky, weird movie. And it's like based on this book, but it's all about kind of like sex topics and taboo kind of topics. Like it's like Gene Wilder's like is like a doctor and talking to his patient who's like in love with this goat with this sheep, and there's all, and then like they're Woody Allen's character plays like the fool, like the jester in the court, and he's in love with the queen, and like there's all these bad situations happen with him and the queen, and like the king finds out and stuff. There's like they're really ridiculous sex kind of stuff going on, and I don't know, it's all kinds of super quirky weird stuff. And definitely like it's kind of funny too seeing Gene Wilder in this role, because this was like done like a year after Willy Wonka, so I can't imagine people when they were watching this like thinking of him from Willy Wonka and then seeing him in this really quirky strange role. But this is just a really fun, you know, Woody Allen movie that I feel like not many people have seen, you don't hear about too much. This has on here an isolated music track as well, but this is also a limited to 3,000 copies edition. And the next one here from Cinedigm is a movie called 13 Demons, You Play, You Die. And I thought this was a pretty fun movie about these three guys. In the beginning of the movie, though, you see like two of them are like being talked to by the cops, and they're like, what had happened, and what happened to your friend, and he died, and you know, and when they're being talked to, they're like medieval warrior types, and they have like long beards, and they're all bloody, and like kind of look like they came out of Dungeons and Dragons, like in real life though. And they're there like talking to the police and everything. And this is a really interesting movie though, because like they end up finding this board game because they're telling about what had happened. They found this board game and they start playing it, and then like as they start playing it though, they have these weird kind of out of body experiences when they're like fighting demons and fighting these kind of characters. But then they end up waking up the next day, and there's things on the news about these people who had died. So it's kind of like, are they involved in what was happening? Because like people that they saw themselves fighting when they were like in this weird out of body world, when they had like, you know, dressed as like proper knights and stuff in this weird like trippy world, then like those people are like dead the next day. So it's like them trying to figure out what had happened and stuff, and all these weird things start to happen to them. It's a pretty cool movie though. Like it's a weird concept, but I like what, like it's like really different, and it's like kind of like the idea of someone playing Dungeons and Dragons and then like bad things really happening right afterwards. It's kind of like a Jumanji kind of movie. The next one here from a company called United Front Entertainment. These are all from the next four titles. And this is a movie, I really wanted to see this one because Jessica Cameron is like the star of this one. It's a movie called Save Yourself. This is about a group of these girls who are going, they're in the beginning of the movie though, they're playing their film at this kind of small theater kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they're kind of traveling it around. They're getting ready to drive it to LA to have a big screening of the movie, like the big premiere, but they're kind of doing small things in between. But like along the way, like when they're there though, they meet some like really kind of weird kind of stalkers, fans and kind of stuff. But they end up going to this rest stop on the way, just like to kind of stop, and the one friend ends up going missing when she goes to the bathroom, and they're trying to find where she is. The car won't start, so it's kind of them leaving and trying to figure out exactly what is going on, where the friend is, you know, what they're going to do, because they're out like in the middle of nowhere area at this small rest stop. And they kind of come to this house, and when they get to this house though, they realize though there's something really bad going on there, and they kind of find themselves trapped in there. It sort of has like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of vibe, a little bit though, of them all trapped in there trying to figure out what they're going to do and like what's going to happen. I kind of like this one though. It has on here though 30-minute making of documentary, as well as a commentary track on this one. This one though, this was a pretty cool movie. This one was one called No Way to Live. And the one guy I always like, Larry Fresherden, has like a part in this one as well. He's always really cool. Like he directs a lot of movies as well, but like he's like a character actor in a lot of indie horrors and stuff. But this is a movie called No Way to Live. And this is set in the 50s. And this is set in the South when there's kind of like a lot of racism and stuff like that going on at the time. And this one guy he kind of goes around trying to sell vacuum cleaners and stuff. And he ends up going like door to door, and he meets this one girl at the house that he kind of sees, and they kind of like, she's like winking at him, and she kind of likes him. So he ends up wanting to go back that night to try and see her and talk to her. But the father is like, you know, when he's there, is kind of really racist and mean and stuff. But he ends up going at night to try and see her, but he ends up stepping in this trap, like this bear trap around the house, and like she ends up taking him in and kind of takes care of him. And they're both like, they kind of fall in love, and they're kind of trying to plan to get away because the father is like really abusive to the girl, and like they want to try and plan like an escape on how like they're gonna drive off and kind of go off and go on like journey and like get away from the father and stuff. But it's one of those movies though with lots and lots of twists. Like there's a lot of unexpected stuff happening and like a lot of problems go on, and like it takes a lot of like really dark turns. So this is one of those movies like I didn't know going into it like what was gonna happen, but like I really thought this was a cool movie, and like I said, some really dark twists that are going on, and I love Larry Festerden's character in this as well. I don't know, this was a really cool movie that I feel like a lot of people probably have not heard of. It has on here though a commentary track on here as well as the deleted scenes, but definitely guys check out the trailer for this one, give this one a chance. This is a really cool movie. The next one from the same company as well is a movie called Farhope Tower. The one actress from this is from the show Degrassi. This is basically a movie about these people doing a documentary. They're trying to do a documentary on like ghosts and haunted type things, and they've gone to like tunnels and some random kind of spots, and they're trying to like pitch and make this like TV show and like actually get on the air. And the guy who runs the network's like, you got to do something bigger, you've got to do something kind of shocking, something that really is kind of scary. And they all have heard about this one tower where people had kind of vanished in it and bad things had happened, and he's like, I want you to go there, I want you to break into that place, I want you to film in there, and if you film there, I have a feeling though that this is going to be what we want at the network, and we're going to air this show. But of course though they end up going to this place, and the second they end up going in there, there's some really weird stuff happening. Weird things start to happen to the people that are in there, and like they kind of start to discover some of the past, because there was all this kind of stuff about people going missing, and then when they're in there they start kind of seeing glimpses of things that had happened. And it's a very, very creepy, but it's found footage, but it's not found footage. Like they're filming a found footage thing like a TV show, but it's not all done found footage. It's probably like 30% of it is found footage. Most of it though is just film, regular film style of them in there. But like I said, I thought it was kind of cool to see the one actress from Degrassi from not the original series, but the one that was like, Drake was on. I remember that's the one I used to always watch. But she was on this one. But a pretty cool, like, creepy kind of like haunted paranormal type building film. The next one is a movie called Blood Hunters, and this is another one I really liked. This is about this woman who's like wakes up inside of this weird like abandoned kind of hospital, and she wakes up in there and she finds herself pregnant, and she has like no clue why she's in there and what had happened and how she ended up in this place. But as she gets in there though, she realizes there's some people around her that are dead, and like she tries to get herself out of the room, and she finds a way out. And she starts hearing like someone talking over the intercom of the building, like, there's anybody in here, come to this area, there's other people here, and we need help, and we need to find a way out of here. And there's some kind of like these creatures that are like they're hiding out in the dark and like coming after people, so they have to like have flashlights out to keep the creatures away and stuff. But it's basically though about her in there trying to figure out exactly how she ended up in here, and having like weird little memories of certain things, and her with these group of survivors trying to find out how to get out of this building, and like how to keep these creatures away, because they're all over the place, and there's like this weird priest character in there as well, and you can tell he's up to something weird's going on with him. But this is a really, really cool, well done creature movie, and I always like these kind of things that are all set in one kind of location, kind of like Day of the Dead kind of thing, and this sort of had that kind of feel mixed with like Cube and stuff, but really pretty cool movie. The next ones here are from 88 Films, so all these ones though are from the UK, so keep in mind these are all region B releases, so you make sure you have to have a region free player to to play any of these ones. This is one I had not seen in years. This is a movie called Return to Horror High, and all these ones have new HD transfers, as well as a bunch of different features on them. But the transfers on all these are really well done, really good transfers. This one though, I remember this is like one, I think the first ever George Clooney movie. He's in it for like 10 minutes. Marie McCormick is in this movie as well, and this is basically about this school where years back all these people had died, and now this film crew is doing a filming a movie about the murders there. But when they're there though, people start dying off, and they're kind of going missing and stuff. And it's like a slasher movie, them all getting killed. So like they're making a movie, but at the same time they're all getting killed themselves. The one actor actor in here, Scott Jacoby. You know, I've always been a huge fan of the guy. I always hope someday he comes back and does a movie again, because he was in one of my favorite movies of all time, Bad Ronald, and also in The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, like 2 amazing movies. But he's in this movie, you know, and this is like, I think like one of the later things that he did, because he stopped acting, you know, a long time ago. But this is a really, really cool slasher film. This is another one that's like kind of like a Motel Hell kind of movie. This one is called Mountaintop Motel Massacre, and I love like this has like this really cool slipcover as well as this other alternate artwork on here. But this is a, like I said, these all have new transfers, as well as on here this has, you know, a featurette on here with Drew Edward Hunter, as well as a still gallery and some booklets about the movie itself. There's like a booklet in here with some facts and stuff like that about the film, and some storyboards and some pictures. This is a really strange movie though, about this woman who's gone nuts, and like she's like in this motel, and she like crawls around in the floorboards underneath of it, like between hotel rooms, and she's like putting like snakes in there and like weird stuff and like killing the people, and it's like these crazy over the top deaths and stuff. I always really like this movie. It's not the greatest movie ever or anything, but I like these kind of crazy kind of characters, and she's like this real crazy woman. It's just a really fun, ridiculous, over the top like slasher film as well. And next one from 88 Films as well is a movie called Hide and Go Shriek. This movie though, this is one of my favorite ones. This is about like a group of these friends going to kind of party at night in this furniture shop that the one friend's father owns. They kind of sneak in there to hide out there at night. This one though is probably one of my favorite slasher movies I've ever seen. Like I've always really dug this movie, and I only saw this movie probably like the first time like a year ago, but this is like a really cool movie. This is one of those movies though, I think I tried to watch it though years back on like DVD, but it was so dark you couldn't see it at all. This is one of those films that benefited so much from, you know, being in HD, because you could actually see the movie. But they're in there, you know, in this place partying at night, and then someone in there is trying to kill them. So like people are like, you know, getting killed off inside this furniture store at night. And I love because they're kind of like crawling around in the furniture store, going upstairs. They have all these kind of areas to hide, and the friends are all sleeping with each other, and all kind of bad stuff starts to happen in there. It's just a really great slasher movie with some actually a pretty decent twists and stuff in there as well. And the killer is actually pretty cool as well. I don't know, I love this movie. I feel like this is one that you don't hear about at all. It's like one of those sort of like very seldom talked about slasher films. It's another one that has a brand, you know, restored from a 2K, brand new 2K scan on here, as well as a booklet as well about the film, you know, some facts about the movie. This has a DVD copy of the film as well. This one here from PBS is a TV series called Remember Me, and this has the Marco Palin, you know, who's from Monty Python, and this is him doing like a real dramatic type role, because I always think of him like doing real comedy stuff, and I don't know if he had done a lot of other drama. I always think of him from comedy type things. And this is basically, though, he ends up, you know, he's getting older, and he kind of wants to get into a retirement home, so he ends up staging this fall, and, you know, he gets taken into the retirement home, but then the woman who takes him in, she ends up falling out of this window, and then the girl who works at the retirement home kind of is like weirded out by what had happened, and like the police don't seem to be weirded out or anything, so she kind of starts to kind of investigate this guy, because right when he gets to the retirement home, like weird stuff starts to happen, so she's kind of like digging around in his house and trying to figure out exactly what's with this guy, because he's got some like weird dark vibes going around him and stuff. It's a pretty cool creepy film. You know, this is like I don't think they ever did a second of this one, because like it was just like a limited, you know, kind of more of a movie, kind of like, but it was like done as 3 episodes though. And the last one here from PBS as well is the complete 17th season of America's Test Kitchen. I always like this one because it's about a group of these, it's like, you know, a documentary type show about, you know, doing recipes, cooking show. But the thing I always like is they do like tests. So they do like taste tests of like vinegar and certain food products, and they like do like blind tests, and the guy tastes like 4 different ones, and he's like, oh, well, I like this one the best, and this one is pretty good, but this one has a hint of this, as well as they test out gadgets and stuff like that. I always love these kind of cooking type things, especially ones where they're like, you know, testing out, you know, products, and, you know, seeing which ones they like better and things like that. But this is, you know, a 4-disc set though, with all of the season 17 episodes. But anyway though, guys, thanks again for watching this, you know, the review portion of this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
And before we go, I got this one thing I just got from Fox. They sent over this cool promo item for Phoenix Forgotten. It has in here some like case files for like in here like about like testimonials about what happened to the missing people. So that's really cool thing in here, like state director and stuff talking about the missing people. And in here though is a copy of the movie as well as a Phoenix Forgotten t-shirt in here. So that's a pretty cool t-shirt, and it's, you know, it's in extra large, so it's my size, so that's pretty cool. Here, you know, the poster image on the t-shirt. So just want to show you guys that pretty cool promo thing they sent over with the